in 1929, Jung wrote a paper for a psychiatric journal called Problems of Modern Psychotherapy. And 1929 was the period when he was just beginning, hadn't quite started his investigation of alchemy yet. He'd gotten the first book, but he put it down for 2 years looking at pictures occasionally between 1928 and 1930. So in 1929, he writes an essay in which he talks about 4 stages of the analytic process. And he is trying to take into account the work of Freud and Adler, his own work, and in general what psychotherapy is engaged in, whether it belongs to one of those 3 schools or is something else. By that time, existential psychotherapy, founded by Ludwig Binswanger with the help of some of his colleagues, Daseinsanalyse was beginning. So there were many forms of psychotherapy. And Jung was trying to pull together an overview of the whole scene. And so he talks about 4 stages or 4 levels or 4 phases, if you will, of the psychotherapeutic process. And they are the first stage that he discusses, and he says it's common to all the schools of psychotherapy, he called confession. As Jung saw them in this picture, this is from that 1550 publication that he was working with, and it's called the Mercurial Fountain. In this picture, you see no human figures yet, but you see the Mercurial Fountain, which is surrounded by 4 stars in each of the 4 corners, and then a 5th star in the center. There's a sun and moon above. You see mineral, vegetable, and animal in Latin letters up there. And then you see the fountain, the Mercurial Fountain, contained within this structure. And this is a picture of the garden, the fountain in the garden, surrounded and protected. It's a sacred space. And the fountain is spouting water from 3 spigots. The text of this image of the Mercurial Fountain reads, "We are the beginning and first nature of metals." This is the beginning. "Art by us maketh the chief tincture." The chief tincture is what is created by the art that will have these powerful effects that I mentioned earlier, healing and transformative effects and so on. That's the chief tincture. So that's what the art makes out of the first nature, the prima materia, at the beginning. "There is no fountain nor water found like unto me." Now, this is a very special fountain, unique. There is no other like this. "I heal and help both the rich and the poor." So it's very democratic. It's not only for rich, but for anyone who comes and can find it. "But yet I am full of hurtful poison." And that's the mercury. Watch out for mercury. Don't casually bathe in mercury. It can be very poisonous. So there's a warning. This isn't for everybody. It's available to everybody, rich and poor, but you better know what you're doing when you enter into it, because it can be very destructive. As we know, certain kinds of human relationships are extremely destructive, even though they do also represent a kind of conjunctio experience.